Hi guys, so I made the base of this dress. I did not sew on the applique yet, and I did not add the horsehair at the end of this dress to make it wavy. I did use my own measurements, so if you want to learn how to make your own dress, please continue watching.
Only been a few hours, but feel like days. Only been days, but feel like months. We gone for you, and you like months. Like move fast, we don't we run.
So first things first, I make my own patterns. Yes, I make my own patterns, and I already have multiple, I think two or three tutorials on how to draft your own pattern. It's not as hard as you think, I promise. I make my own patterns in probably like 5 minutes or less. It's not hard, I promise. But for the horizontal measurements, I divided by 4, then I minus 1, and then at the end I'll add 1/2 inch seam allowance. So that's what I did for the front and back pattern. So this right here is the front and back piece. Now I'm going to cut out the back piece, and then I'm going to trace it out. And then once I trace it out and cut it out, I'll cut out the front piece. So I'm tracing this out. And this new one, this is the back piece. Now I'm going to cut out the back stuff, and then now this is going to be the front piece. You guys can skip this part. I'm just making fabric patterns because I feel like it's a lot easier and it doesn't move as much as paper. Because with paper, I'll have to pin it to the fabric so the fabric doesn't move. So the paper doesn't move, but with the fabric, it's like, I feel like it's super easy to just place it on there and cut around it easily. But y'all will see that I'm still going to pin it because I'm so used to pinning it. So the mesh is already folded for the front piece, and this is an applique that I got from Amazon, and it is so, like, it feels so cheap and like not real. The appliques that I got before, they were so heavy and they felt so full and real. But this is a 2-inch horsehair. I got soft. I don't think I ever got soft. I think I got soft with the orange dress, but this is a 24-inch zipper. I wasn't going to use the whole 24 inches, but I did eventually. And I got extra jewels as well. And I also have my fabric. I thought I ordered 8 yards, but you'll see in the later clips that I actually ordered 9 yards. And lastly, I have my pattern pieces. So starting off with the front mesh piece, you're going to fold your fabric and you're going to make sure the fabric stretches horizontally, because when you put on a shirt, it stretches horizontally. And you're going to place it on the fold, so once you cut it out, it'll be one whole piece, and that'll be your whole front piece. And the 1/2 inch seam allowance is already included right there on the side and bottom, so I don't have to add seam allowance right there where I pointed at. See, I'm so used to pinning my pattern pieces that I'm still doing it, but it's fine. I will not add seam allowance to the armhole because it's just mesh. I don't have to hem it. And for the neckline, I don't have to hem it. But I will add seam allowance to the shoulder because I'll have to attach it to the back shoulder. So once you attach things together, you have to add seam allowance so nothing gets shorter. So I'm just cutting as is. Then again, I will leave 1/2 inch seam allowance at the shoulders. Allowance right here is because we're going to attach it to the back part, and if we don't attach it to the back part and then we sew it together, then it's going to get shorter and our measurements are going to be off. So that's what we're going to add seam allowance so we can sew the 1/2 inch seam allowance when we join it together. So now that we're done with this, now we're going to move on to the center back piece, which is going to be the front bodice or the back bodice and the skirt together to make one whole dress in the back. I actually ordered 9 yards. The scuba, yeah, 9 yards. Where's it from? And it's from Fabric Wholesale. You can see. There you go. So it's clear which one is the front, which is the back. This is the front, and this is the back that has like the ashy side to it. Front and back. I forgot to draw. I forgot to show the drawing. But it's the basic, you know, the basic prom dress. I might do the hole in the back. I don't know yet. Just looking at pieces. So yeah. This is the back piece. It's scooted over a little bit, like it's not exactly on the fold. It's just over 1/2 inch to account for a zipper allowance. But you probably saw that I folded it in some. Oh, right here. I folded in some because remember we added 1/2 inch seam allowance earlier. We don't need that 1/2 inch seam allowance anymore because we're making a whole dress. So in summary, scoot it over 1/2 inch to account for zipper allowance and fold your seam allowance in because we're going to make a whole dress, so we don't need that seam allowance anymore. Now we're going to plot our vertical measurements. We did waist to knee, I think it was 21 inches, and then we did waist to hips, which was 9 inches. So from the waistline, which is the bottom of the shirt / bodice, you want to get it and you want to go down 9 inches, that's the hips, then down 21 inches, that's the knee. So right here I'm just doing what I explained before waist to hip, which is 9, I think. Then I pin it, and then I'm going to do the same for the knee line, and then pin it as well. It's 39. So 39 divided by 4 minus 1 is 8.75. From the half inch mark. So 39 divided by 4 minus 1 is 8.75. So from that half inch mark, you would go over 8.75 inches. And that will be considered your horizontal measurement. And then you can pin it and go to the next step. So just repeat what I did. Waist to knee was 21 inches. Then you want to put in the horizontal measurements. I just used the waist measurement. I just did 30 divided by 4 minus 1. Then I added half an inch just to be on the safe side. So for the knee measurement, I just went over 7 inches. Quick little side note, I know my skin is terrible. When I got here, it automatically started getting worse. I don't know, I think it's the water, I'm not sure, I don't know, but I freaking hate it and it's stressing me out. Like, my skin was never perfect, but it was never this terrible, so I don't know. Sorry for ranting. Back to the video. I added half an inch seam allowance to the neck and armhole because I'm going to hem it. Then I have to add the seam allowance to the shoulders because I'm going to attach it. Now I'm cutting the back piece in half because I found this a lot easier so I can easily attach the zipper. Now I'm getting ready to make the skirt piece for the front because remember, I only cut out the shirt part for the front. Right here I'm just marking my starting point. Right here I'm not measuring anything, I'm just making sure it's straight. That's why I'm using this measuring tape, just making sure it's straight. My waist measurement was 30, so 30 divided by 4 minus 1, and then from the starting point I'm going to go over 6.5 inches. Now I'm going to measure waist to hips, and waist to hips was 9 inches, so I'm going to pin it, and then I'm going to do my measurements, which was, I think hips was 39, so 39 divided by 4 minus 1. So from that hip point or that hip line, I'm going to go over 8.75 inches. Lastly, I'm going to do the waist to knee, and I think it was 21 inches. I keep saying I think it was 21 inches or 20 and a half inches, I don't know. But spot that or mark it or pin it. Oh my gosh, pin it, and then you're going to do the waist measurement, which I used 30. So 30 divided by 4 minus 1, and then I added half an inch just to be on the safe side. And even if I do know the math, I'm always going to use a calculator no matter what. I don't care. You know how when you take a test, you always use a calculator no matter what? That's what I do. So yeah. I only added seam allowance or half an inch seam allowance at the top so I can attach it to the mesh part. But other than that, I really didn't. But I didn't like draw it or anything. I just pinned it. So maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. This is just how I did it. Sorry, y'all. And then I just made it a little even because it looked too clear out. Just showing y'all the pieces. This is the front piece, which is the bodice and the skirt. And we have our back piece, which is cut in half. And before we do any type of sewing, we would need to hem the armhole and we would need to hem the neckline so it can like be cute and not have like that ugly raw edge. And doing it, I feel like doing it last, I feel like that doesn't make any sense. So just go ahead and get it out the way. Just hem it first, and then you can do your sewing once you're done with your hemming. Now it's time to make your cover up pieces or your cutout pieces. A lot of people want this so their boobs don't show like on the side, and I feel like it looks a lot better and a lot classier in my opinion. But you just draw it however you want to draw it, and that's really it. And I'm just showing you right here what I mean, like the side pieces. The beauty of being a seamstress or designer or whatever, dressmaker, whatever, you can do it however you want to do it, especially if you make your own designs, obviously. But right here I'm just reminding myself to add seam allowance because I hate when I forget to add seam allowance and I feel like I'm just wasting fabric. So yeah, I gotta remind myself. Then just cut it out, and then we're gonna place this on the green fabric, and we're gonna sew this green fabric cutout on top of the mesh. Then you're gonna fold your green fabric, so once you're done cutting this out, it'll be 2 pieces. And by the way, I did not forget to add seam allowance. Yay! This is my mesh front piece, and again we're just gonna fold it in half an inch and then sew it down, but y'all will see eventually. I was just trying to give y'all an idea of how it's gonna look, so sorry if I'm taking too long. To be honest, I don't even think I folded it in half an inch. Maybe I did in the beginning, but eventually it just got smaller and smaller. I think that's supposed to happen. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just trying to show y'all what I did, and I'm just showing y'all the slow version first, and then I will eventually speed it up. Right here is just showing y'all the difference, how neat this side is and then how ugly that side is with the raw edge. If you have a serger, please serge around it first and then fold it and sew it down, because it'll look a lot more neater and more professional. But I don't have my serger with me because I'm away for work. But if you have a serger, please use it. Now I'm just getting ready to sew the pieces down on the mesh. Now we're getting ready to sew the front bodice and the skirt together to make it the front dress. The bodice and the skirt, they are both right side up. So I'm going to do is flip it over, and then we're just going to sew it together. By the way, I'm using a zigzag stitch because this is stretchy fabric, so you're going to need to use a zigzag stitch. Now it's time to sew the seam allowance down so you won't be able to see it through the mesh. So this is the seam allowance that I'm talking about. You will be able to see it if you don't sew it down, so we need to sew it down. And I will use zigzag stitch for that as well. And this is what the front looks like. So I already have a zipper tutorial on my channel, but this is a different way, and I'm trying to perfect it first before I actually show you how to do it. So you can just watch though. I usually fold the fabric lengthwise to cut out patterns like I did earlier, but if I fold it that way, it's only going to be 26 inches wide, and I want a 40-inch train on the bottom, so that's not going to work. So I'll have to fold it this way instead. Well, whenever I fold it, I'll fold it that way instead. This way right here. And you'll see that I keep checking to make sure that it's 45 inches. And you'll see why in the next clip, you guys. So I already have a video on how to make a circle skirt, but I'm gonna just briefly explain it. Usually you would measure around your knee, and then you would take that measurement divided by 6.28, but I'm trying to make a system here, so I just did my waist measurement. So my waist was 30 inches, 30 divided by 6.28, and I got this, which is 4.77. So this would be considered the first circle. So from this very corner, you're going to go over 4.77 and then keep going all around 4.77, 4.77, and then you'll cut that out, and that will be where you attach the pencil skirt. Now we're going to do the bottom circle. I like to start from the very corner, so I add the first circle plus however long I want the train to be. So the 4.77 plus 40 inches, which is 44.77. So I just went over 45 inches all around from that little corner, and that's where I'm going to cut it right here, the first circle, and then this second circle. This is the corner I like to start from, so I'm just going over 45 inches all around from that very corner. 45 inches, 45 inches. Sorry for having my butt in the camera, but this is 2 tables put together, so I'm so sorry. So where you see the pins is where I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to do the same exact thing for the back piece because it's not going to be a long train. It's going to be the same length all around, which is 40 inches all around. And of course, I forgot to add seam allowance to the top of the train. But yeah, just remember to add seam allowance to the top. And well, it's okay for right now because it's just a train, so the little 1 inch or ½ inch, that won't hurt anything, but make sure you add seam allowance. Right here, I'm just pinning it again because I'm going to place it on top of another fold so I can make the back piece. All pinned up so it doesn't look as much. It's fine because I can keep doing that. But I'm going to do the same, fold the fabric the same way, and then place this on top, and then cut the same exact piece out because we're not doing that longer train in the back. We're doing the same length, 45 inches all around. The new fabric is loaded. This is how they look opened up, and the pretty sides are up. Now the pretty sides are touching, or the pretty sides are kissing. Now I'm just pinning the two sides, and I'm going to get ready to sew them. They're all pinned. Now they're ready to be sewn. Right here, I'm just showing y'all where to sew at. Right here, I was just checking out the train, and I made a big mistake because the floor is so freaking dusty, so I had to put it up fast. So here's the last part. You're just gonna put it down, like lay it flat, because you know this is how you want the dress to be. So just do what I'm doing right here, and then we're just gonna flip it over, because when you sew, you want to make sure the pretty sides are always touching, so the seams can be inside. You do not want to see the seams outside. Now we're gonna start pinning. I like to start pinning from the sides first. Pin the side seams first. Make sure you match in the side seams, and then I like to move to the middle, and then just work my way up. And you would also need to stretch the fabric as well. So right here, I'm doing the middle. Then once I'm done doing the middle, I'll do the sides. And while I'm doing the sides, I'm gonna stretch the fabric out. Not a lot, but I'll stretch it out. And this is how it should look, all pinned and ready to be sewn. So that's the end of this tutorial, and again, this is just the base of the dress. I did not sew on the applique yet, and I did not sew the horsehair on the bottom of my dress. And I also used my own measurements because I wanted the dress to fit me. I wanted to try it on because well, I don't have my mannequins, I don't have my dress form, so I had to make my own dress. But if you want it for a discounted price, just let me know, because, well, once it's done, just let me know. But if you have any questions or concerns or whatever, just comment them and let me know, because I like answering questions, because like it just gives me more video ideas and I want to be consistent on YouTube. So yeah, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and you can turn on the notification bell so whenever I upload videos, you'll know. Seem to take a step out, get some in now, let your edge out.